G'day. Thanks for your invaluable feedback last week regarding our inaugural podcast. People said not to read from the script and to look clearly. Well, sod you. I don't have a photographic memory. I do have to read from the script a little way for some of it. So there you go. So I'm going to read from some of the script and hopefully you'll get a feeling for where we are. So hi, I'm Steve Ball. This is our second podcast, so it's not quite our inaugural podcast. For those who didn't listen to last week, there's probably plenty of you, in fact, because there's only 60 viewings, I think, of the podcast. So there's probably hundreds of thousands of people out there who still haven't yet. Listen, the whole idea of the podcast is so that we can have a bit of a chat about the roles that we're working on every week. The new roles, I'll let you know which ones are new, which is bad. Actually, it'd be pretty easy. If I'm wearing a t-shirt and a grey vest, they're roles from last week. If I'm dressed like this with a monkey suit on and a tie, then they're new. So yeah, you can track the new jobs by my outfit, so watch away. So yeah, there you go. The idea is obviously that we sincerely hope that you'll get something out of this, and that if you're looking for a new job or a new team member, or you need a little bit of a different insight on agency or marketing world, that you can just log on and have a little bit of a look. There will be 4 episodes every week, one for account management, creative services, creative and digital. And again, yeah, thanks. We need your input. Love to hear from you. Thank you again. And these are the creative services jobs for this week. Hi, this is just a little separate header for the creative services section, with a little bit of an update on some of the jobs that we had on last week. The following roles have been filled, which is our reference number 60882 for the head of production role, our reference number 60858 for the traffic manager role, and also for the other traffic management role, reference number 60840. And also one of the finished artist roles that we had on, reference number 60876. So yes, we've got a couple of new ones which we'll talk about in a sec. This next role is one that I'm looking after, so yeah, still keep the hand in. This is our reference number 60880 for a studio manager. It'll pay up to 90,000 package, which we believe is about the right money for this role. I think there's some inflated roles around town. This is a good one. Again, I'm just going to read straight off my little script here, if that's okay. Are you a bit of a nerd? And not in the old sort of daggy way that nerds were daggy. It's in the kind of nerdy is the new cool thing, the new sort of naughties nerd. Well, yeah, you know what I mean. If you don't, we'll try and explain it. And I'm trying to right now, but it's you know, this role is highly technical. Well, if you're highly technical, i.e. a bit of a nerd, and you have a superior understanding of all page creation softwares, and a little bit bored with actually doing it and sitting in front of the screen and punching the keys, but you'd love to be able to teach people in a closely knit studio team, then yeah, listen on. Our client is looking for you if this fits your description. This is your description, and are looking to both add strategic and financial value to this international agency's creative services offering. To enable this, you'll be managing a sizable graphic studio in its totality, including but not limited to workflow, resourcing, and quality of output. Ideally, you've had a number of years' experience in advertising agencies, all very similar, creating great advertising, technical DM, collateral, and you've advised on the technical aspects of running a studio as well. Yeah, here you go, good studio manager's job. Mainly about workflow. If you haven't been a studio manager before, we'd still love to hear from you. In fact, we've heard from some people already who would be good for this role, who haven't, and they would be considered. The start date will be in June sometime. However, we'd love to get into the process now, I mean, really, it's the middle of April anyway, so really that's not here nor there. Love to hear from you. Really good role, good agency, great opportunity to turn things around. This agency's having a little bit of issues on managing workflow in and out of studio. So, love to hear from you. Thanks. Alrighty, this is for a mid-weight designer. This is when we get flooded with CVs. We've got the word designer in there. Mid-weight we need. Mid-weight starting at 50 seems a bit rich, but that's their brief. So it's 50 to 70,000 package. And again, a wonderfully talented copywriter. Are you fed up with the big agency environment? Perhaps you're tired of churning out the same old stuff for the same old clients day in and day out. Our client's a boutique agency. This is a cool office. This is excellent. Producing great campaigns for their FMCG clients. Following some new business wins, they're now looking to ramp up their creative services offering with a mid-weight designer. Reporting to the CD, who's also a really good bloke, there will be no limit to the scope of this role. 1 minute you may be looking at point-of-sale material, the next designing packaging for an FMCG client. It's imperative that you've come from an agency environment, super imperative, and you must be currently a finished artist in an agency or a graphic designer and sort of want to get out of the just churn. So if you're a designer in an agency, you're not really doing design, then this is a good gig. You're getting much more closely back to design sort of routes with a bit more open briefs from the creative. So the creative director will be working quite closely with you as a designer. Cool guy, cool job. So and we think up to 70,000 package is probably pretty good value. Either way, the role offers fantastic diversity in an exciting time for this organisation. It's also imperative that you have first-class communication skills, as there will be some client contact from time to time. So you'll be able to present to, of course, your work. If you don't have an experience in an agency, really can't hear from you, unfortunately. It's a prerequisite. So good gig, good agency, cool lot, super cool office on the north side. Yeah, be good to hear from you. Thank you.
Okay, unfortunately this is one I have to read straight from the script. It's not on the new template. So there you go. Do you care really? I mean, you're just going to hear about the job anyway. This is not one but two jobs. Our reference numbers 60881 and 60902, both very different agencies. One on in the inner city, the other one on the north side, but the requirements of both are quite similar, although the scale of both businesses is quite different. The latter, which is on the north side, it's a smaller business. The former is a much larger agency. So, but you know, why beat around the bush? Let's just rip into it. Are you, that's you, a creative Mac art worker with close attention to detail and an implicit InDesign, Photoshop and Illustrator skills? I don't know whether you have an implicit. Do you have? I think it's do you have. Anyway, if so, we'd love to hear from you. Both of these clients specialise in producing a variety of advertising materials, and they do, I assure you, for key blue chip clients and some not. Really, the idea is that they've got a quite diverse client base, both of them. They now require an enthusiastic team player to focus on print material for their clients. The role will involve a great variety of projects, from brochures to in-store point of sale, print advertising, photography, retouching, dimensional drawing and much more. God, does it get any better in an agency? Needless to say, you'll be level-headed and won't be cracking it every 2 seconds, with a penchant for producing highly accurate and detailed work, whilst maintaining a good look and feel to the material. That sounds a bit clumsy, but there you go, I think you get the gist. Therefore, a good eye for design is also important. Actually, not more than important, it's bloody essential. To apply for the role, you must be currently working in an agency environment and have a diverse portfolio that shows you have the ability to work on household brand names. Yeehaw!
And that's about it for this week. So thanks for your time. I hope it's been of value. Would love some feedback if you think, yeah, anything. If the sound quality is bad, you don't like seeing the head, you just prefer to hear the sound. You don't like the gags, you just like a straight read, the ads don't make sense. Any of that stuff, anything at all, love to hear from you. I'm going to say that repeatedly every week. Don't be surprised if you see this exact same clip next week in this same outfit. But the rest of the podcast is me wearing some other stuff. So again, thank you. Remember, this is for you. it's so you can listen to jobs rather than log on. It might be easier for you when you're going for a walk, whatever. That's the idea. So yeah, for that we thank you, and again would really appreciate your feedback. Have a great weekend and a safe one too. Cheers.